everybody, welcome off the rack. I'm Sal.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Tiffany.
Today we're going to review Dark Enth Metal #1 from Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. This came out last week, and it's the culmination of all the work that Scott Snyder has put into Batman since 2011. This has been preempted by a couple of tie-in titles, The Forge and The Casting, by a myriad of different DC artists, of course written by Scott Snyder himself, leading up to this grand adventure, and boy is it an adventure in continuity at least, but let's get into it in a little bit. First of all, I want to talk about our initial impressions of Dark Enth Metal #1. What do we think of the book overall, Ben?
Unpolished would be my overall response.
Oh, keeping with the metal theme, eh?
Yep.
I thought it was like tempered steel. No, I don't know. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good read. I was like, man, Ben's gonna have a hard time, and so is anyone who's like, this looks awesome. I am
What
so
is going
hyped.
on?
Exactly. I think I am so hyped for this. Who? And
What?
it might as well just be called Dark Enth Metal. Who?
Yeah, I am like in between you two, and I think my knowledge of what's going on, except for the last page in which I was just like, I am all in on this book. I am in.
Yeah, if you are willing to do a history lesson, or at the very least watch Tiffany's fun video about Daniel Hall, right over there, you won't really know what the hell's happening. It's making a lot of references to a lot of old school DC mainstays and the lineage thereof. Incidental lineage, by the way. A lot of, okay, so like the whole thing is about Enth Metal, this mysterious space metal, this alloy that...
Which is apparently shaped like everybody.
Yeah, well, it's...
Well, I mean, think about it like this. Like, people, they have used it throughout DC history.
Right.
It's just one of those things where it was just like, creators were like, it's Enth Metal.
Yeah.
And that's Enth Metal.
Yeah, it's like if they were to, in the Marvel equivalent, be like, everything is connected through vibranium. Vibranium's not just a mystical metal, it also is like a primordial substance that connects all life itself together.
Oh, and hey, remember Uru, Thor's hammer? It's actually Enth Metal.
Exactly. Like everything, except what's funny
like
is,
they did that.
what's funny is,
Vibranium,
if Marvel were to do that, it would be a retcon. With DC, it all pretty much still is Enth Metal. Like everything's made of Enth Metal just because when they were like, we don't really have a vibranium or an adamantium, but we do have this one thing that we have used for decades. I guess we'll just make it that. And so things just wind up being connected to Enth Metal by accident, and then Scott Snyder's like, what if I were to connect the dots?
Yeah, and I kind of am really interested to see how he's going to do that, because we've seen writers do this before, successfully and unsuccessfully.
Yes.
So I'm super interested to see how well he will fare, but like I said, like after that last page reveal, like I was just like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get as much of that as I want, but you know I'm picking up the next issue.
That's true.
For me, the history lesson in this particular book,
it's the whole damn book.
Well, it's supporting his continuity. It's supporting what he's doing. It's like writing a paper. You gotta support your ideas and your theories, and I feel like that's what he's doing here. And because of the fact that he's not actually writing a paper, he can just create what he needs.
Yeah.
But he's doing it. He's not just like
Now, it would be interesting. Sorry, I'll let you talk in a second. But it would be interesting if we were to go back and find all those Snyder history lessons about the building of the city, of Gotham itself, and wonder if it's connected to this. Like, what if Gotham itself is built on a foundation of Enth Metal?
That'd be hilarious, because then Bruce would have been like, it's been around me the whole time? I've been looking for pure samples!
It's true.
It's in Crime Alley, man. Ah, I never go there.
No! Oh, he always goes there.
Yeah, to drop off flowers.
That's all, yeah.
And Brood. I kind of feel like it's hand-wavy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there are the 52 different universes.
Well, that's
finite, and I get that, but then like, well, then we flip over the map.
But what if we all saw Stranger Things?
Yeah. Like, oh, come on.
I mean, to be fair though, while it is very Stranger Things-y, I also was kind of like, that's a fun idea, but what if we flipped over the map and there's a dark side to everything? Now, if it's linked to dark side, like the dark side of the map with an EI, I'd be down for that.
There's and I mentioned it before, there's another thing it potentially could be connected to, which is a deep dive, and I honestly do not believe they're going to do it.
You don't? After the last page reveal, you don't believe that's where they're going?
I still don't.
Tell them what you think is going.
Alright, so in one of the Sandman volumes, though, they introduced the concept of like a dream vortex, which has to be dealt with, and it has to be dealt with in the manner of Dream has to kill the Vortex, which is a human being. because the human being will have like all dream focused upon them, and he's seen it happen before because there was another place where the Endless was all set up and they were doing their thing and they didn't stop the vortex and it ended the place and they went elsewhere. Because like the idea is there are many like places that they do this, and like the Endless are there until people are gone forever from all places, and then they'll go as well. But like, so I'm like, are they going to the vortex?
I think that has to be what it is.
I don't know. For me, that's too deep a dive.
If
and it's
Snyder,
too much to explain.
If Snyder consulted with Gaiman at all,
he did.
Then it is.
No, he definitely did, and that was the thing, because like he got permission. He doesn't have to.
No, but it's nice to ask.
He doesn't
it's like Weird Al.
have to.
But has it been an area that has ever been explored before, like, physically?
No, because in theory it's just gone.
Right.
Like it doesn't exist.
Like the vortex.
The vortex doesn't exist. Like at all. Like wherever that was, whether that be a planet or an entire universe, it's gone.
Well, it's gonna.
Yeah, I think it's coming back. So, what'd you think of the art for this issue? Because I think it's Capullo at top form. I think he's been preparing for this. It has shades of what I've seen of your copies of Reborn.
Yes. Yeah, like, it's almost like he got a little practice there, because in Reborn there is a lot of, like, crazy fights with a lot of different shaped people, first of all, that aren't just Batman, and it's a lot of, like, simultaneous action between those people, almost like a gladiatorial type fight. He also, with the main character, got a lot of practice on, like, the female form, you know what I mean? Not that he's not skilled in doing that, but, like, I definitely saw it reflected in Wonder Woman's action in this. His Batman is always amazing. I gotta give him credit too for actually like drawing the mech well, like the Voltron. Like
that
I was
fits
like, wow,
together.
it looks really cool.
Well, and that each individual piece, when it was
attacking them
before it was combined, that it looked like it was the same build.
Yes,
Yeah.
it
Like,
wasn't
not
like
the same machine, but like it was created by the same maker.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just like again, like it's just he's a really, really competent artist, obviously.
Yep.
And it was just nice to see him playing around here, because he really got to play around here.
Yeah.
It's weird to me to see his version of an Endless, but it's not at the same time, because there's so many different artists who have worked on it.
Yeah.
But still, I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. What's
Right.
your take on it, man?
And the guy at the end, that is an Endless.
Yeah.
He is one of the Endless.
Okay.
Yes.
Favorite moment?
Oh, riding the dinosaur. Come on.
Yeah.
What that was yes and no, because I wanted this.
You wouldn't get that.
I didn't
You
get
got him
that.
riding a velociraptor.
You know what my favorite moment was?
Yes.
It's the last page.
Right? For me, I had to say, it was actually like tying the Blackhawks into the mythos, and I really liked the bird imagery. I liked the idea that like the House of Bats turned to the House of Birds, because like for me, conceptual-wise, I was like, yeah, because like whenever Batman had a sidekick, it was a bird.
Yeah.
He never went back to bats. Unless you count Batwing, but no one does.
Well,
so
and he always remained part of that.
right, and he's like, no, I take the darkness on. Like, I'm Batman. You all are the brighter parts of me, or the brighter parts of what I want to be, and I like that. And I like the idea. I hope, and I have to assume that it's going to be that Snyder knows that too. That like the Robins are intrinsic to the House of Wayne and the birds and everything.
I thought it was interesting, the symbol.
Yes, the time, the hourglass.
Yeah, which is like, because don't forget that like Dream is not the only Sandman that has ever existed in DC's lore. There was like Wesley Dodd Sandman, there was Garrett Sanford Sandman, there was Hector Hall Sandman, who is the father technically of Daniel Hall.
Right.
Oh.
Who is related? Who is of course the grandson of Hawkman.
Exactly.
So
Carter Hall.
Yeah. So like that's how they tied this all. It's for me that was like, oh, you're kind of brilliant.
Yeah.
Like
I imagine that like Snyder's place is just there's a room that is dedicated to strings and pictures and panels and characters.
So he's a madman.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I kind of get Superman, and like at the very least, again, knowing the investigation was going on to some degree, knowing what happened when he like came to the Fortress of Solitude, knowing like being part of it, being cool with it until that point. But now he's just like, now there's a mountain in Gotham. I need to step in, and you have to tell me what's going on.
Right, but at the same time, like Gotham was just displaced by a giant goddamn mountain, so I can imagine Batman being like really frazzled.
Exactly, but like Superman's thinking probably like, okay,
big picture,
like all right.
But Batman's thinking bigger picture.
I know, but like Superman's like, I got to think about the people
who are Yeah.
Yeah, and I need you to work with me, and you're not.
And Batman should be thinking about that as well.
Yeah.
Especially considering the fact that Batman can't fix this mountain.
No, and
there's nothing you can do, man.
People are in trouble, and they need help, and they're Gothamites. Like, what are you doing, man?
Well,
I don't know.
That's why he's got the Bat family.
Right, that's why he's like, scramble the Bat family.
Yeah, they'll deal with this.
Scramble the birds.
And Dick, deal with the mountain.
Yeah, you're...
Just push...
What?
Oh, that comes up, that's your department.
Where's that written in my... Oh my god, it's written in my claws.
If Giant Mountain appears.
Yeah. It's just because I've known you the longest.
Alfred.
And I can't have Alfred do it.
No.
Because he has to make me soup.
That I won't eat.
So overall, I think that Dark Knight's Metal had a good beginning when it started 2 issues ago, but this first issue, while it does not stand on its own, if you were to jump in right now, you have
be very confused.
You'd be very confused. You have a lot of research to do.
Yes.
The first 2 issues did a lot to help prepare to this moment.
Yes, and even for me, like, there are homages to me that I'm still not, like, okay, what?
Yeah, that are still like, what? Also, the most frustrating... Okay, the most frustrating thing about this book is the New 52 Rebirth continuity problem. Because it refers to Arthur's Hook Hand, and when it has, like, the editor's note that says, like, which issue to go...
Read the
90s.
The 90s. Hilarious, I appreciate it, true, but at the same time, if I were a layman, and I were to jump into DC now, and I would be like, okay, and then go back and pick up Aquaman from the 90s, and then, like, let's say I really loved it, because it's Peter David's Aquaman, and it's kind of cool, and then I read it all the way through, until it was canceled, I would kind of be confused, because Aquaman gets rebooted in the New 52, and then it kind of never goes back to the way it was, because Rebirth is not a retcon, and so I would be confounded by the continuity that I just absorbed that you told me to go look for. I mean, I appreciate it was kind of a joke, but also at the same time, like, this is really continuity heavy, and it refers to things that are part of the DC pantheon that either don't exist, have been changed, or haven't even been touched upon or referred to. Like, Plastic Man is still an egg. Is he pre-New 52? Like, Plastic Man? Is he a re-version of Plastic Man? That will be...
They've never seen Red Tornado before?
Right, they've never seen Red Tornado before. Is he pre-New 52 Red Tornado? Or are we going to do a new 52 Red Tornado origin? Like, for me, it's frustrating because there's no roadmap and there's no, like, graph. I know that, like, it's like...
There is a roadmap.
How can I... Yeah,
it's the other side of the map,
exactly.
which is black.
So I can't even see the damn thing. It just feels like if you want to do this, like, deep continuity dive crisis, because it is a crisis, according to Snyder and Capullo.
I mean, they mention Final Crisis in this.
They do mention Final Crisis.
But they also call it a Dark Crisis earlier.
So if you're going to do that, either this is going to be the thing to bring back continuity, to fix or align some continuity, or at the very least, like, help to fix some of the problems. Because you can't just have all this stuff and make it go away or redo it and then keep referring to it like it's canon. If, like, you were part of the decanonization of that thing. It's just frustrating to me. No. It's a fun read and I can divorce myself from that, but as a comic book reader and as a person who is versed in that previous continuity and they have the audacity to keep referring to it, I'm like, you gotta give me some kind of tether. Yeah. But, you know, while it sounds like a major criticism, it's really more like a nitpick at this point.
Because you had fun.
Because I enjoyed it, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I'm sure I'll pick up this too.
And I gotta tell you, if you are a casual DC reader, but you're a fan of Sandman, this is, like, interesting, because I know I've been sitting here going through and being like, oh, is this a thing? Is this a thing? Is that a thing? Because, like, the Sandman mythos is very deep. And like, has often crossed over in the DC universe, and now it's just like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Because technically they talk about the immortals, right? Yeah. In Sandman, there is a gentleman who is immortal, who is made so by a dream, essentially. And, like, he retains that immortality.
Well, maybe he was part of the society. We'll have to go back and look
I know, and I'm just like, are you there? I don't know. Oh my god.
We only get, like, a few names.
Now I'm just like, I'm, like, all, like, going over it, and I'm like, I know at the end of the day it's not going to matter. I know it's just going to, he shows up, he gives Batman some information, then Batman saves the day. Like, I know that in my heart.
Yeah, but you kind of hope that it's, like, really connected.
I know. Like, part of me is like, but you went and asked him if you could do stuff, so that wouldn't just be him showing up, would it?
That'd be lame.
Would it?
So we've got Hawkman and Hawkgirl showing up.
Yep.
We've got Dr. Fate that's in there.
Yep.
Plastic Man.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Hall's father, Hector Hall, was brought back, and he became Dr. Fate for a while.
Yeah, so it could be that Dr. Fate. I don't know.
That would be confusing.
It's
Yeah.
all over the place, but yeah.
Yeah, plus Red Tornado, and...
I'd be willing to bet it's not the new, younger Dr. Fate, because they probably scrapped that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I didn't read it.
I read a little, and not many other people did.
No. Dark Knight's Metal #1. It came out last week. I recommend you pick it up. You
Yeah.
too?
I do. I'm talking over Ben. I don't care. I do because I think it's kind of an interesting study. It's a strong start. Hopefully he can finish strong as well with these.
Yes.
I know that's a problem sometimes.
This is the one to get right.
Yeah. Like, this is the one that, like, you know, hopefully he has, like, really put a lot of, like, heart, soul, and effort into all the way through. And I know, like, it can be hard because, like, you start to lose steam, especially putting that much of yourself into something and, like, this much continuity and, like, focus into it. But, like, I'm not as continuity heavy as you are in terms of DC, but I am in terms of Sandman, so I'm excited for this and to see where it goes, and it's just kind of fun to be, like, on the cusp of something like this.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. The only thing I'm not excited for is the release schedule, because you've got 1, 2, and 3 coming out pretty much over the next 3 months, and then you've got 4, 5, and 6 pretty much ending all the different tie-ins and one-shots that are happening, and it's going to be... The main story is going to be so spread out, it's going to be a rough break right in the middle.
Yeah.
When they're like, read all the tie-ins and one-shots, and you're like, I don't care.
Yeah.
So that's a detractor for me, but I'm still on board. Especially if #2 amps it up a little bit, and like I said, if it polishes it up a little bit more, then I'm definitely in.
See, I think it is amped, but then again, I knew who the Sandman was.
Right.
So...
that is an amp for...
I was so amped!
Yes. So let's get into recommendations of books that come out this week that you can pick up that we think you should check out.
So I have 2 recommendations for this week. The first one is going to be Batgirl #14, written by Hope Larson, Chris Wildgoose, and Dan Mora. I don't really know who's doing what, but those are the names that were on the list, so there we go. It's going to be a book between Barbara and Dick, and there's going to go into a little bit of history, and I kind of like these two when they get together. I also like these two when they butt heads when they get together. So, I think it's going to be fun. My next book is going to be Punisher #15, written by Becky Cloonan, Matt Horick, and Declan Shalvey. This book is going to be Frank Castle in the subway. Because if anyone has ever murdered someone in their life, it was in the subway. Because you're surrounded, and it's tight spaces, and it's all these people, and sometimes they smell, and sometimes they're weird, and oh my god, just start getting freaking raging. So yes, I really want to see what happens down there. Because in the subway, like, no one can help you. If the Punisher's down there, oh my god, he's gonna wreak havoc. Matt Horick. Never mind.
Yeah, Doctor Strange is coming out this week. It's #24. We're still in a tie-in written by Dennis Hopeless with art by Nico Henriksen. I really want to be excited for this because you know I love Doctor Strange. I just haven't been loving this, I'll be honest with you. But I'm still going to buy it because I still want the book to do well and I want to get more Doctor Strange out of it. We're still trapped in the bubble, even though in the main book that's gone now, so we all know where that's going to go anyway. Dealing with Baron Mordo. We'll see what the aftermath holds for them and what they do afterwards. I gotta be honest, right now I'm just kind of in a holding pattern with this book, but who knows? Maybe this will surprise me and I'll have a really good time.
This week, it should be no surprise I'm recommending Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man #3, written by Chip Zdarsky with art by Adam Kubert. This continues Peter Parker working with the Human Torch, which is fun. It's Peter Parker teaming up with people and not in a frustrating way that's kind of confusing, like with Mockingbird and Amazing over there, where it's kind of like, why? Who asked for this? But this is continuing the story of Peter Parker fitting together the mystery of the cell phones, and he's going to face off against Wilson Fisk. It's a lot of stuff that's true to form. I think it's really fun, despite the fact that I always maintain that Chip Zdarsky kind of hates Spider-Man, but if he does, he's doing a really good job of hiding it, because it's one of the best Spider titles out there right now. And there you have it, everybody. We'll see you guys next week in a whole new episode of Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
I'm Ben.
I'm Tiffany.
See you next week.
Rawr.
Yeah, was this metal? I didn't think so. I wasn't like, yes! Like Voltron, cool, not metal.
No, not metal. Made out of metal.
Right. Technically metal, but not, like, awesome.
I thought it was pretty cool, especially with that bat head, those bat wings.
Yeah, it was cool, but it wasn't metal. Like, was it metal when they're all talking in a boardroom about, like, the 52 worlds, and, like, you know, Batman riding a dinosaur.
You think Metallica never sits down and has, like, a meeting?
Oh, I think that's all they do.
Yeah, they don't make music.
Except for the last time. This last album was really good.
They finally did it.
Yeah, it took
it took them a decade.
It took them a whole decade of sitting around.
But then possibly that was metal.
Oh yeah, you mean the boardroom meetings?
Yeah, that might have been the most metal thing that there was.
I think
that was just them doing tours, being like, "No, we're
working on something." Yeah.